One of the things this dog in spirit told me was that her mom and dad built something for her. And so at first I was thinking maybe they built her like a ramp to get up to the door. You will not believe what it actually was that was built for her. My name's Elisa Ace. I'm a spiritual medium, and I like to make videos where I share the evidence that pets in spirit give me in my pet readings with their mom or dad. So these pets will often give me the details about how they died, about how they crossed over. I choose not to share that because it's a little bit private, and I also do not share the intimate, loving messages. What we do is we go over the specific pieces of evidence that they give me that show their mom or dad that they're around them, that they're still with them. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a very special dog named Lexi, a very, very loved dog. So one of the first things that Lexi, the dog in spirit, told me is that her mom would send her somewhere. So at first my brain is spiraling, thinking maybe this means doggy daycare or something. And when I asked her, she said she had a beloved dog sitter that she went to for years. And then the next thing she did was tell me something on board. I couldn't hear the first word, but she showed me an image of one of those old school yellow signs that people put in the back window of their car. And she said her dog sitter had that exact sign on her back window on her car, dog on board, which I will show a picture of. She did get rid of it after Lexi crossed over because she was no longer transporting a dog in her vehicle. And the same night of the reading, Lexi's old dog sitter messaged her mom, my client, and told her that Lexi visited her in a dream that same night. So that's awesome. So Lexi, the dog in spirit, also brought up baked goods. And when I asked her mom, she immediately knew what she meant. She said, just last night, I made an order. This person has like a small baking business. And so my client, the night before our reading, had ordered a dish of cinnamon rolls from her to be picked up. Another thing that Lexi, the dog in spirit, told me was that while she was sick, she was put on a drip or like IV fluids. And her mom ended up sending me a picture of that. So I will add that here. Lexi also told me that her mom pushed her in a stroller when she was older, which I will also show a picture of here. And another thing that Lexi told me was that her mom and dad prayed over her. So I've never had a pet in spirit tell me it exactly the way that Lexi did. And so when I asked her mom, is this correct? She said, yes. Me and my husband would put our hands together and lay our hands over Lexi, and we would pray for her. And sometimes I would pray for her on my own as well. So that was such a cute thing that Lexi brought up. Another thing that Lexi told me was that her mom had purple flowers. So this is common for pets to bring up flowers. I'm not sure why. I guess because flowers are so high vibrational. And so anyways, they'll sometimes tell me what kind of flower or what color flowers or where the flowers are at, that kind of thing. So anyways, Lexi brought up purple flowers, and it turns out that Lexi's mom currently has purple flowers in a purple vase in the house. And then on the railing right outside at her front door, she has more purple flowers. Another thing that Lexi also told me was that her mom was going on a trip soon, and then she told me beach. And sure enough, the beach will be part of her upcoming trip. And then her mom said, not only that, I'm taking her remains with me. So Lexi's remains are going with her mom on the trip, which makes even more sense as to why she would bring it up. So if you watched my last video in this series about my pet evidence readings, and they're all in a playlist, by the way, on my channel under the playlist tabs called Pet Evidence and Pet Readings Videos, that's what it's called. If you watched the last one, then you remember that the dog in that video told me that she follows her mom. And I told her, you got to tell me somewhere that you followed her before the reading's over, please. And so this dog did the same. She told me that she followed her mom. And thankfully, she gave me some details about where she followed her. So she told me the phrase, need a ride, as in like a question. And so right away that made me think about somebody offering her a ride or, offering to go somewhere with her. And then the next thing she told me was car following another car. And then she told me a place on the corner. And then she told me there's a barrel there. So I had no idea what to make of this. I asked my client and she said, yes, that was just today. I was going to the vet to pick up one of her paw prints that the vet was making for me. And somebody that she knows offered to take her, to go with her, to drive her, and she declined. And so she had to back up out of the driveway following the other woman who was backing out first. So they're backing out together, and then she had to follow the woman down a long road before they could finally part, and then my client could go on her own. And where she was going was to the vet to pick up that paw print. The vet is on a corner, and there is a barrel sitting outside in front of the vet. So she was giving me some details about where she followed her today, which I love, because it shows their mom or dad that their pet in spirit is still with them, that they can still see everything that happens in their life. They hear everything. So I love that. So then a paw print got mentioned again, and she said clay. And so when I asked her, she said, well, I went to the vet today to pick up that paw print, like I said, but it wasn't clay, it was acrylic. And I said, nope, then that's not it. She specifically said clay. And then she said, well, I do have a clay paw print of another dog. And I said, okay, stop, don't tell me. And so then I asked for more information, and then I immediately heard border collie. And she said, yes, I have the clay paw print of a dog that I loved. It belonged to somebody else, a friend of hers, a man who passed away. And so she ended up having the paw print of this dog, and the dog was a border collie mix. And it is very common for other pets to kind of step forward in the background of the reading. That doesn't mean that I switch over to them and start connecting to them at length like I am, with the main pet that I'm connecting to. But a lot of times, people will step forward, letting me know that they're there, that they did show up for my client, or pets. So this could be other pets of my clients that have passed over, or it could be family pets or pets of friends that they were close to. And so in this instance, the border collie mix dog of her friend that she really loved, who she has the clay paw print of, who's named Skeeter, by the way, showed up for her in the reading. Another dog also stepped forward. So I heard Pipple here. And so when I asked him, and then I also heard Cancer. And she said, that's my friend's dog in spirit. His name was Beast, and I love that dog. And so Skeeter and Beast both stepped forward in the reading, as well as 4 of her uncles. All 4 of them gave me their name. I'm asking, who's this? I'll give a name and I'll say, who's this? She said, oh, that's my uncle. I'll get a third name. Who's this? That's another uncle. So, but it's so amazing that her uncle stepped forward. And again, I did not switch over and start connecting to them. They just wanted her to know that they were there and that they showed up for her in the reading. Another thing that Lexi, the dog in spirit, told me was the word crawl. And so I asked her, what do you mean by crawl? Did you have to crawl? Like, if you're not careful as a medium, your human brain will want to get in the way and start trying to figure out what they mean, or trying to assume that you know what they mean, which you should never do. So I told my client, I said, your dog is saying crawl, but I'm not sure why, so give me a second. So I tuned back in, and then she added another word and said crawl space. And I thought, okay, that makes more sense. And then I tuned in again, and she said cold. And I said, do you have a crawl space, and is it cold? I'm an apartment dweller, so unfortunately I don't know anything about having a crawl space in a house, that kind of thing. And she said, yes, we have a crawl space, and yes, it's cold because that's where our AC unit is. And a very good friend of the family was over just recently, and he went in there for us. You got to kind of crawl in there, and there's spiders and stuff. So he went in there for them to do something with the AC. And that person loved Lexi, the dog, and Lexi loved that person, the family friend. So that was really interesting. So Lexi was basically telling me that she saw this family friend crawling into the crawl space. So another thing that Lexi, the dog in spirit, brought up was eating rice. And so when I asked her mom, she said, I ate rice earlier today before our reading, and I ate rice yesterday too. And she ended up sending me a picture of it. I did not ask her for the picture of the rice, but she ended up sending it, so I'm gonna add it here. Another thing that Lexi told me was that her mom likes to watch court shows, like Judge Judy, those kind of shows that take place in a court. So I thought that was so funny. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes they will tell me what you guys watch on TV, which is so cute. So then Lexi gave me a woman's name, and I asked my client, can you take this name? Is there a connection to this name? And she said, yes, that's my aunt. And I'm asking her if she will sew all of Lexi's dog blankets together and make me a quilt. So that was really cool. And remember at the beginning of the reading when I told you that her mom and dad built her something? It turns out that mom and dad built her a bridge, like an actual bridge in the backyard. And then they're going to paint it as a rainbow, so a rainbow bridge. And then they also built her an arbor, like one of those things that you walk through. You know what I'm saying? And then they built her, let's see, a bench. That was the third thing. And I will add pictures of all of these right in here. And then she showed me an image of mom carrying her out into the yard and sitting down with her, just sitting with her on some kind of seating. I couldn't see exactly what the seating was, so either some kind of chair or some kind of bench. And she said, yes, I would go outside with her and sit on the bench when she was alive. But not only that, I still do that now. I go out there and I sit there with her remains, with her ashes. So I thought, oh, that makes even more sense. So then Lexi told me something about wax, and she indicated that it was round. Now, I have heard this a few times in past readings, and I don't usually bring it up because I have not been able to figure out what they mean yet when they bring up wax, because I don't think it's necessarily a candle, because usually if they want to bring up a candle, they will say the word candle. And so this time I decided to ask her, and I said, I don't know, she's bringing up something wax, and I think it's round. And she couldn't figure out what it was in the moment, but she messaged me the next day or the day after, and she said, guess what? Ever since we moved in this house, I put away some of these, a bag of wax melts, which are round. I'll put a picture here. I put them away somewhere, and I haven't been able to find them for the last 3 years. And my husband just found them in the back of a drawer. So that happens on occasion where they will tell me something that happens in my client's life like a week or two later. So like a little mini premonition. There was another reading I did with a dog named Harley, which I also did a video about. That's in the playlist. In that reading with Harley the dog told me, raid the closet. And my client, her mom, didn't know really exactly what that meant. She said, well, I do need to clean out the closet, so that might be what it is. But it wasn't like for certain. And she just messaged me recently, letting me know that her husband just asked her to go through the closet and get rid of everything and clean it out and organize it. And so she's literally going to raid the closet, which her pet told me about, and her husband did not know that I said that in the reading. So that happened after the reading. So that's really interesting. It's like a little mini premonition. So Lexi also told me that somebody had a picture of her on their screensaver, and then she told me the words hat and matching. So when I asked her about it, she said that picture is on my husband's screensaver, and it's a picture of me and Lexi together, and we're in matching Santa hats. So one says nice and one says naughty, and I will add a picture of that here. So there is a lot of love in this family. This was a very loved dog. She sent me some more pictures of all the effort that she put into giving this dog birthday parties. And I mean a birthday party like you would give a human child, with the cake and the balloons and all of that. And then she also sent me some pictures of that backyard area, which is dedicated to Lexi, there's a tree with her name carved in it. And even though she was cremated, they still got her like a little gravestone. And then the bench that they built her, and the arbor and the rainbow bridge that they're still in the middle of making and painting. If you're new to my channel, I make these videos because I want to show people that there really is no such thing as death. And when your pets cross over, they still very much go on and have a beautiful experience. Your pets are eternal souls, just like people that cross back over. And so your connection, because it is through love, which is the highest truth in the entire universe, the connection that you guys have is eternal, it's permanent. You guys will always be connected. Your pets are free. They can come and go from both realms. They can come back and visit you for a while. They can go back to the spirit world and be with your other pets, be with your family members. They can do what they want, and they can go where they want. You will be reunited with them when it is your turn to cross over one day. And I just wanted to share some evidence that shows that Lexi is still with her mom and dad. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to schedule a reading with me to connect to a person or a pet in spirit, then you can go to the link that's in the pinned comments in the comment section below, my Facebook mediumship page, and you can private message me there. I do my readings over Facebook Messenger video call. Leave me a comment and let me know if you like this kind of video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye.